This is the schematic diagram of how I connected the LCD, switches, and resistors to the microcontroller.
Required materials: LCD, resistors, switches, connecting wires, microcontroller and its connector, programming device, breadboard. Optional materials: potentiometer, header, soldering gun, and soldering wire.
This is the program I coded. We start with including the library Liquid Crystal H, this one. Then we declare the pins where we connected the RS, enable D4, D5, D6, and D7 pins of the LCD. These are the data for our custom characters. They are written in binary, and every group of numbers, this one, like this, represent a row, and individual numbers are for the columns of that row. This is for the last column of the row, this is for the second to the last, and up to the fifth for the first column of the row. In the display, which is made up of 5 columns by 8 rows. A is declared as an integer that I used for counting the activations of the button. So first we declare the number of columns and rows of the LCD display. Pin mode declares the mode of the pin. 8 and 9 are declared as input pins. They are for up and down, or you can say previous or next screen. This command lcd.createChar declares our custom characters as a number. So input the number that we want to associate our custom character and from where the data is written. Then in the void loop, digital read 8 and 9. This is for the constant reading of the pins 9 and 8 for the buttons. I used the if function to display a certain screen that corresponds to a certain value of the variable a. There is a total of 28 screens on this code. For the display of the custom character, we use lcd.write byte, then the number of the custom character. Then we use lcd.print for the normal characters like letters, numbers that are already in the ASCII group of characters. So this part is the essential part of our command. This is for the down or the next button, where we put delay here for the bounce function, and every press of the button associated to this pin, we will add 1, so the screen will clear, then go for next. But if it is greater than our last screen, A would go back to 0. It functions as a loop to go back to the first screen. Then this is for our previous or up button. So when it's active, there's also the bounce, delay, 100 milliseconds, and the value of A is decreased by 1. Then we clear the screen, and if it is less than 0 after this, it will be just A equals 0, so it won't go back to the last screen. It will stay on the screen, on the first screen, if previous button is pressed. LCD.clear here in these two functions are very important. So it clears the screen so that it prevents the overlapping of two screens. So here I used serial print LNA for monitoring while I am coding, so I know what the value of A really corresponds to these two functions. So that's all.
Here, I'm just soldering the headers to the LCD module for easier connection to the Arduino. So this is what it looks like after soldering. After finishing the code, I connected my Arduino to my device so I can compile and upload my program. After uploading the code to the Arduino, I then proceed to assemble the components according to the schematic diagram. Now that we have completed our setup, we're gonna try to plug in the battery to the Arduino so we can power up the system. So these are the two potentiometers that I use. 100 kilo ohm potentiometer for controlling the contrast of the text. This is for the brightness of the background or backlight. So these are the two buttons, the next page and the previous page. If you want more brightness, you can use this. If you want to increase more contrast, you can use this potentiometer, control it using this. It's more easier to control the contrast of these if you have a lesser value potentiometer, but this is all I have right now, so I'm using just what's available. So this is the first screen, and during the first screen, even how many times you press this button, nothing will happen. It won't go back. Just stay there. So let's go to the last screen. So this is the last screen, and if you're on the last screen and you press this button, the next button, it will just loop back to the first screen. But if you're in the first screen, you can't loop back to the last screen using the previous button. Special thanks to Adrian Latosa for sponsoring this LCD. Thank you very much. So here you can see the symbol phi that we modified as a custom character. Also the alpha that we also made. The T. The squared. And the square root.